Listen up, wrestling fans.
That's right. Listen up, wrestling fans. This is Strong Honor. We're going to jump right in. We're not going to screw around with the sound bites. Nope, none of that this week because there's a lot to talk about. It is WrestleMania week, which doesn't really affect this podcast as much just because obviously there's not a lot of New Japan presence at WrestleMania, but we do have Supercard of Honor, so we got to talk about that. That is a big show this weekend. The much anticipated Cody versus Kenny Omega match that has been building up on being the elite in New Japan, in Ring of Honor, on the Indies for several months. So we'll get into that. We got to talk about Sakura Genesis, an amazing couple of matches, a couple of 4-star plus matches on that show, and a nice undercard to boot. We had the Road to Sakura Genesis, a nice little sneaky show that snuck up on me on before the weekend. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was happening. I forgot about this.
I did get that in.
So I got that in too. So we've got some nice little stories on there, so we'll talk about that as well. Ring of Honor TV leading into Supercard of Honor. And then we got a bunch of other indie shows coming up WrestleMania weekend, of course, that I want to talk a little bit about here kind of right off at the beginning, kind of before we get into we'll get to the New Japan stuff really quick here because, I mean, that's the big story of the week, in my opinion, just coming off of that really great Sakura Genesis show. Before we get into it too quickly here, too, I wanted to say hello to all of the new listeners. We do have quite a few new listeners this week. Recently, one of my favorite podcasts, the New Japan Purocast, those guys said that they're going to be hanging up the boots for a little while, not doing any more shows for the current for the foreseeable future. They said they're not going to go away forever, but for now, it's goodbye. So we do have some listeners that are looking for a new outlet for New Japan and Ring of Honor, but mostly New Japan because that was an all New Japan show. So if you were looking for a new show and you found us, thank you for checking it out, and help us out here if you like the show. Share it on social media if you're on Reddit, because I know Purocast was big over on Reddit, and I don't get on there very often enough. So, and again, I don't want to be sharing my own show. So if it's something that you like, please go ahead and tell others about it, because obviously it's going to sound better coming from somebody that's not associated with the show. So
you sure?
Yes. So yeah, all of that plus the rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, all of that. Help us spread the word. We've been doing this show for just over a year now, and it's a passion project. It's a lot of fun, and so there's that. Also,
on a journey together.
And also, obviously, with it being WrestleMania weekend, we're going to be talking WrestleMania on our other podcast, the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, so you can check that out on wherever you get your podcasts as well. So, okay, WrestleMania weekend, this show is dropping on Thursday. I should also mention here for the new listeners, new shows drop for this show every Thursday. We record on Wednesday nights, and so these shows become available very early Thursday morning. So if you're looking for when this show regularly drops, that's generally when you'll find it. Once in a while, I'll throw in a bonus episode, or if we don't get to record on Wednesday, it'll be a little bit different. But generally speaking, it's going to drop on Thursdays. Okay, WrestleMania weekend, a ton of stuff going on, tons of indie shows. I want to talk about a few of them here. We'll talk about some more of them over on Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, but this is really a subject for both podcasts because I think there's a lot of WWE fans that are curious about what's going on the Indies WrestleMania weekend, and as well as New Japan fans that are going for Ring of Honor, for Supercard of Honor. They're going to be maybe checking out some indie shows as well. So let's start with that Rev Pro show because that one's got the most New Japan stars on it. They kind of pretty much have the exclusivity on the New Japan guys other than Ring of Honor. So the Rev Pro is going to be running on Friday at the WrestleCon event. Basically, there's two big venues that are holding these bigger wrestling shows, these bigger indie shows. One of them is where all the WWN stuff is going on, like Evolve and the Evolve Super Show and things of that nature, Shimmer. And then the other one is the WrestleCon one. That's where Rev Pro is and Progress, I believe, and some other ones as well. The Pro Wrestling Revolver, the Pancakes and Pile Drivers.
God, it's brilliant.
So
it's turning into a monster, you know. WrestleMania is one thing, but like that fact that everyone just kind of gets into the city. Let's get a ton of shows in. Let's show everybody off. Everybody gets, you know, their fair share if you're, you know, you're doing your dues, you know.
Absolutely. Okay, so Joe, I know you've got the full card for Rev Pro. This is on Friday. Starts at 4 p.m. This is at the WrestleCon show. Unfortunately, I don't think you can stream this live for those of us not going to WrestleMania, but Rev Pro does have their own streaming service on their website, and you can Google that, and I believe it's $10 a month. So you can watch the show for $10 after. And they don't usually, it's not live, and it usually takes a couple of days for them to edit things and get it up on their site. So again, like a lot of stuff is being like live on Fight TV or WWN. All the WWN stuff is going to be on Fight TV. Some stuff is on Twitch, but this one unfortunately not live. But with so much going on WrestleMania weekend, it's going to be hard to get all of this stuff in. Also, I imagine with all the New Japan guys on this show, you might see one or two of these matches, if not a full card, come up at some point on New Japan World.
That'd be great.
So if you're willing to wait like a month or something. So the big main event, Zack Sabre Jr. defending the Rev Pro title versus Tomohiro Ishii. So that is a huge, awesome match, dream match there with big stakes there. Joe, you've got the rest of the card in front of you, though.
All right, we'll start at the smaller stuff with like, and it says this is the card so far, so I have a feeling they're going to throw a few surprises at people still, which is kind of nice. But David Starr versus Martin Stone.
Okay, and Martin Stone we know from NXT and also Rev Pro, obviously, but he is known as Danny Burch in NXT. So if you're looking for more of number 2,
probably a hard-hitting match. Doesn't matter who he's with. You know?
Absolutely.
Tanahashi and Juice versus Aussie Open tag team.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Aussie?
I haven't. I
might have to look that one up now just because of the name. That's awesome. Minoru Suzuki versus Jeff fucking Cobb.
Yeah.
Ooh. Like, that's just two big mean one big mean motherfucker and one regular size mean motherfucker.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but Jeff Cobb has some really interesting matchups this weekend, so that's definitely one of them.
And then they got the big tag team, Kota Ibushi, Flip Gordon, and Shane Strickland versus Will Ospreay, Rocky Romero, and Chucky T.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that'll be a lot of fun.
Like, just thinking about Kota Ibushi, Flip Gordon, and Shane Strickland, that's just, it's a weirdly amazing combination.
And I like this. I like Shane Strickland getting the opportunity to get in there with some New Japan guys, and on this Rev Pro show, this is kind of a sneaky way for him to get some exposure to those guys. So,
but I mean, that's just what's announced, and who knows what kind of surprises they throw up. That's a fucking awesome show already.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of the other stuff from WrestleMania weekend. But yeah, I wanted to start with Rev Pro being with all the New Japan guys. Obviously, we're going to do a full preview for Supercard of Honor once we talk the Ring of Honor stuff later in the show. That's on Saturday going up against NXT, so pick your battles there. I recommend, though, if you're struggling with which one to watch first, I would say watch Ring of Honor live because they got the live stream, but they might not necessarily have it available on demand like right away.
Shit might be hectic that weekend too.
Exactly.
Streaming.
So if you can watch it live, go ahead and watch it live because WWE Network is going to be a little more reliable with being able to watch something like right away after the fact. So
one of the things that the WWE Network has is that they usually just replay the pay-per-view like immediately afterwards, so like you can start it over and stuff like that. Well, and that's convenient.
What's nice with WWE Network is even if you tune in like a half hour late, you can just choose to watch it from the beginning right away, whereas I'm pretty sure you can't do that yet with Honor Club. I think you can just watch it live, and then after the show's done, it might take an hour or two to come up to be able to watch on demand. But they've only done 2 or 3 of these live yet, so again, I'm not sure on that. But I would recommend trying Ring of Honor first, and if it doesn't work out, then go ahead and watch NXT and try to avoid the ROH spoilers. Okay, so Thursday, so coming up tonight if you're listening to this on Thursday, Evolve 102. This has got Zack Sabre Jr. versus Matt Riddle for the Evolve Championship.
It's a busy fucking man.
And then AR Fox is going to be taking on Will Ospreay.
Oh, shit.
AR Fox, also known as Dante Fox from Lucha Underground. He had that crazy match with Shane Strickland, a.k.a. Killshot, on I guess it was Ultima Lucha or something. Trace, yeah.
What was the match?
It was that crazy fucking death match.
Ultimate death match.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, they had that crazy match on Lucha Underground. So cool to see AR Fox getting an opportunity against a guy like Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay making a big return to Evolve. He hasn't been there doing anything for them in a year because he was kind of locked up with that Ring of Honor exclusive deal for the United States. So big return for Will Ospreay. Also Thursday, the WrestleCon Super Show. This one, I'm not sure if this one is going to be streamed or not. It doesn't look like it. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to watch this. I know some of this WrestleCon stuff might be available later on like a Smart Mark video or perhaps High Spots. So maybe
I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Twitch is blowing up too on some of these.
Right, exactly. So on this show, you got the Golden Lovers versus Chucky T and a mystery opponent. And so that's why this one here, the super show, this one's sold out because it's got the fucking Golden Lovers on there. And then this one also has Jeff Cobb versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Jesus.
So yeah, Jeff Cobb very busy over the weekend with
getting his name out there though. Good.
Right. And Jeff Cobb's already been in New Japan and World Tag League last year, so he's kind of getting he's keeping his feet wet in the New Japan soil. I think I just made a phrase up there, but he's keeping himself visible to the New Japan guys. So hopefully he gets some. I'd really like to see him in in the G1 or something like that.
Oh hell yeah!
But I mean, there's a lot of heavyweights to deal with in New Japan right now too. So with a bunch of guys just moving up to heavyweight, so will be interesting to see. So the Super Show, that's a 9:30 p.m. show, but one of the first shows of the day is this GCW Matt Riddle Bloodsport show. This is a really interesting show. This is going to have 2 or 3 matches that are no ropes. And they're going to be submission or knockout finish only, like a no pinfall type of finish. Matt Riddle's taking on Low Key.
Kumite style.
Exactly, yes.
Love it.
Matt Riddle versus Low Key in the main event. Again, knockout or submission only. Tom Lawler is taking on Walter.
Hope someone pulls out like sand at one point. In the eyes.
Tom Lawler versus Walter is a no ropes, no pinfalls match. So this one will be streamed live on WWN and the Fight app. And I believe this one's early in the day on Thursday. So like a noon or 1 start. I forgot to write down what the start time for this one was, but earlier in the day, I believe, for this one. And I could be wrong because I didn't write it down, so I'm sorry.
Google it.
Again, yes, Google is your friend. But yeah, WWN Live and the Fight app, and then probably available on demand later on Smart Mark because GCW has the relationship with Smart Mark Video here. Then Beyond Wrestling. This is also Thursday. This is the midnight show. Beyond Wrestling Lit Up. This is again available on WWN or the Fight Network. This one's main event, I believe, is Deonna Purrazzo versus Matt Riddle. Intergender style match there, and also intergender Tony Storm versus Timothy Thatcher. So Tony Storm we know from the Mae Young Classic and a big star on the Indies, and Timothy Thatcher, a big indie star as well. Moving to Friday now, Impact versus Lucha Underground. I don't know how much I want to talk about Impact on the Strong Honor show, actually. But let me kind of look around here and see what else might interest the New Japan and Ring of Honor fans. WWN Super Show on Friday. This is at 7 p.m. Matt Riddle versus Will Ospreay. Again, I don't know that. Oh yeah, WWN Super Show. This will be on Fight and WWN Live.
I think Progress has a thing too on Friday of like Tony Storm and I think Matt Riddle teaming up against
Right, yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I didn't get any of the Progress stuff. Oh, no, I did. Friday, yes, Progress has a show at noon, but I didn't find a card on that when I dug this stuff up a couple of days ago. So my information is a little old here because I worked on this 3-4 days ago. So, again, the internet's your friend, but we just kind of wanted to go through some highlights here. But, yeah, Riddle versus Ospreay on the WWN Super Show, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Muneyori Sawa. I'm not familiar with this Sawa guy, but again, the internet Googling, this is actually a pretty big dream match. Again, with the main event for this WWN Super Show, Keith Lee versus Daisuke Sakimoto. So a couple of Japanese stars on this show, a couple of potential dream matchups on that Super Show for WWN. Joey Janela's Spring Break 2 is on Friday night. James Ellsworth versus Matt Riddle. That should be pretty good. And then the main event, Joey Janela versus the Great Sasuke. And then, of course, the clusterfuck match, the Spring Break staple, of course. Let's see, some other stuff. CZW is going to have Sami Callihan versus Joey Janela. That'll be on Saturday afternoon. CZW available on High Spots usually, and their own CZWstudios.com. And then also on that CZW show, Will Ospreay versus Desmond Xavier. Desmond Xavier, known on the indie scene, smaller guy, but very good at the high-flying stuff. So Will Ospreay and him should be pretty darn good together there. The Pro Wrestling Revolver Pancakes and Pile Drivers show Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Jeff Cobb versus Shane Strickland. So again, Jeff Cobb in a good match. Shane Strickland, I've really been enjoying his stuff on the indie scene as well. That's pretty much all I want to go over here. We'll do this. We'll go through this again over on Best Pro Wrestling Podcast too for anybody that's listening over there. But let's jump into the New Japan stuff. Let's talk the Road to and Sakura Genesis itself.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Have to talk about New Japan? I mean, it wasn't like amazing or nothing.
It was pretty.
It was okay.
I wasn't disappointed my SmackDown didn't work, and I had to watch New Japan again.
Yeah,
Shucks.
it was pretty darn good. Sakura Genesis. Before we get into Sakura, just a couple of things I wanted to mention from that Road to show a few days ago. Tetsuhiro Yagi and Ren Narita had a singles match.
Yeah.
And Yagi just fucking kills Narita with chops and a hard drop kick. These two go to a 15-minute draw. That was a fun undercard match. Great late Boston Crab in the match. I mean, these guys have that limited move set. You know, they're only working Boston Crabs for finishers. They're just doing basic ass shit.
You're seeing attitude out of them now, though.
But yeah, just a lot of fun. Togi Makabe and Tenzan getting a scrap after a 6-man match. Tomohiro Ishii beats Hanare in a 6-man match. Ishii and Hanare have been facing off on these Road 2 shows here and there. I'm wondering if this is a singles match we're going to see at some point in the future, perhaps in the G1 or something like that.
Sure.
But Hanare's really been bringing the fight to like a guy like Ishii and really kind of carving out a spot for himself, being that hard-hitting guy willing to take punishment and give punishment. So I like that out of Hanare. Yano gets a win in a 6-man tag with Sho and Yo. And the idea here is that Roppongi 3K might have to get a little dirty in their three-way match to get a victory in the build-up to that. Evil made his big return finally on this Road 2 show, coming back from the busted orbital. He returns in the big 10-man match versus Suzuki Gun. It was a good match. Evil gets the win, so he in the match after Suzuki and Naito battle to the back. They have a brawl that goes all the way to the back in that 10-man match. Then the main event from the Road 2 show, Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi took on Okada and Yoshihashi. Fucking Tai Chi is so over now. Everybody in this crowd is chanting for Tai Chi. Let's go Tai Chi. Ever since he moved up to heavyweight, and even me, I mean, I was kind of a Tai Chi mark before before too, but even more so now. Like this is the pace fits him better. You know, I don't know what
was the chant before "Go away, Tai Chi"?
Tai Chi, go home.
Oh, yeah. There was none of that.
So yeah, I'm just getting a kick out of this shit. Okada is selling the right arm in the match, playing into what happens on the main event of Sakura Genesis. Zack Sabre Jr. submits Yoshihashi in the match. So Zack Sabre, again, just being dominant into these matches, continuing his pace coming out of the New Japan Cup. Okay. Sakura Genesis headline match, which I did not. How did we not see this coming? Not Zack Sabre, Marty Scurll taking on Will Ospreay for the IWGP Jr Heavyweight title. I think we saw the setup for this match rather quickly. You know, happen at Strong Style Evolve just a week ago or whatever. He comes out, hits him with the umbrella. We've got the backstory where it's taken Will Ospreay hasn't defeated Will Scurll in a singles match. He beat him in the 4-way at the Tokyo Dome, but still hadn't beaten him in a singles match.
And he Scurll stole both belts each time. Like,
right.
He wins the belt, and then Marty's like, "There, I challenge you." Yep, my belt.
Right. As soon as Ospreay won it in the fall, fucking Scurll's the first challenger, takes the belt away from him right away. Ospreay has to win it back at Wrestle Kingdom, granted in a 4-way, but he did finally pin Scurll in that match. But that wasn't the end of the story. They needed to close the chapter, and that's what this match was.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it coming. I didn't hear a bunch of people clamoring, "Oh, wait for this match, it's going to be amazing."
I forgot about, like, the fucking event itself was so fun and awesome, and then they popped out. I was like, oh my God, like, we still have this to do, and yeah, it was the best showing out of both of them in this fucking feud. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, this is good. This is going to be pretty good. And we're going. Oh, this is getting great. Oh fuck, this is getting amazing. And, Jesus, and then, oh my God, somebody's going to die. And then like,
you mean Will Ospreay is going to die?
yeah,
or die trying.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the fucking Spanish fly off the apron to the floor, and how it played into the entire story of the match. It's like they planned it. I mean, obviously they planned doing the Spanish fly off the apron, but I don't think they planned on Will Ospreay smashing his fucking head into the apron and getting busted open.
Yeah.
And if they did, they're fucking brilliant. But I mean, the story of the match is Ospreay's past problems with his neck, and Scurll just working over the neck, working over the neck, working over the head, working over the back, working over the neck. And then it's Scurll working him over, but Ospreay never dying. He keeps having these amazing athletic little comebacks, these awesome little sequences. He never dies, but Scurll just always goes right back to the neck, and then it's back to Ospreay just selling his ass off. And then he still has that hope. He still makes his comeback. Then he hits that fucking Spanish fly off the apron and fucking rams his head into the apron, busts himself open. Just spectacular. He's bleeding everywhere. They're threatening to bring the doctor in.
Tombstone on the floor.
Oh, man.
Well, that was the other part of the story, too. So he's working over the neck, and Scurll hits 3 pile drivers in the match. One of them was, I think, earlier in the ring, the one that you mentioned, where he does the tombstone pile driver on the floor, and that's the one where you go down to your knees, right? Yep. And so Scurll is selling the shit out of his knees after dropping Ospreay on his head on the floor. And then they do the fucking Owen Hart Steve Austin pile driver back in the ring. Scurll has Ospreay in the tombstone pile, or not the traditional pile driver position where you put the guy in between your legs, lift him up. The traditional fall back on your ass pile driver. He gets him in that position, but then goes down like it's a tombstone, and I'm having flashbacks to Steve Austin because that's how Owen Hart injured Steve Austin, was doing the pile driver wrong. Right. Thank God he didn't actually drop him on his head. And so, my God, it's matches like these that have that element of danger, and they certainly were dangerous. But it's stuff like this that makes pro wrestling good. If pro wrestling was safe and Miz-like all the time, we'd all be really bored with it. But and granted, I mean, for the most part, WWE is pretty safe stuff. So we don't get a lot of it on that. But this is why we watch something like New Japan.
Right. Well, like someone like Ospreay, fortunately, he's slowed down on doing stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And Scurll, he doesn't do shit like that often. So when they do it, it sticks out. It pops out. It's amazing. It's not something you see or expect all the time. And it's just, especially in this match they had, it just, it was just spot after spot. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, don't kill each other. Are you alive? Keep going. Keep fighting. Like, that's what you want in a wrestling match. Like, oh my God, is he dead? Nope, okay, now get up there, do it again.
Well, and you got all these people that are complaining, safe, unsafe, whatever it want to be. Is it your fucking body? Let's leave it at that. These wrestlers want to do this. This is what they want to do for a living. This is how they want to wrestle. If that's how they want to do it, that's the way it is. Injuries will always happen. Again, you just brought up Stone Cold Steve Austin. Whether that was old WWF days, it was still something that could have been avoided if they were, being safe.
And these two guys know each other inside and out, so they trust each other more than anything.
Oh, and you could tell in this match.
Well, and there was that other thing that he does, that Scurll or Ospreay does too. What the fuck is it called? The that space flying tiger driver or tiger drop or whatever, where he does the backflip out of the ring onto the floor. He almost hit his head on the apron on that thing too. Mm-hmm. It was almost like he was trying. I swear to God, like he
trying to see how close he can get.
I'm thinking because, dude, I mean, he was that was the angle.
He's cocky.
They were working. I wouldn't be surprised if Ospreay was like, "We'll do the fucking Spanish fly off the apron, and I'll nail my head into the goddamn thing, and everybody will think I was dead." And so I wouldn't.
Absolutely wouldn't put it
past him at all. Mm-hmm. So, phenomenal match. Absolutely 5 stars for me.
Yeah.
And look, don't take me the wrong way. I don't want people to go out there and do Spanish flies off the apron and nail their head and power bombs to the floor and all of that. Once in a while, yeah, in big spots. This was a big spot. This was a spot where these two guys shined. I thought the main event was great as it was. I thought they stepped out of the way because this match was so great.
Fuck yeah.
Interesting story there, and I don't want to move to the main event just yet, but I watched on Sunday, the day this came out, the only thing I had time to watch was the main event, so I just watched that match. And on my first watch, I'm like, that was kind of underwhelming. So then I come back and watch the entire card yesterday or the day before, and then I got to this match, and I stayed off of social media, but I wasn't entirely off. I'd kind of pop on it once in a while, to see what was in my notifications or whatever, and I was surprised that I hadn't come across something like, oh my God, Scurll and Ospreay, but again, I was trying to stay off it just because I hadn't watched the event entirely, but I hadn't heard anything about it. This match caught me completely off guard, and then I'm like, oh, well, that explains the main event then. So, and then I rewatched the main event today, and
it's a different world, the main event,
and it is, and I still and I liked it more the second time watching that match as well. But let's go back to Ospreay and Scurll for a moment. After the match, Ospreay challenging Kushida, who's on Japanese commentary at ringside, just saying, look, I got to prove myself. I got to prove that beating you in the Best of the Super Juniors final or whatever last year wasn't a fluke. I got to prove that I'm the guy, and so let's do it one more time, Kushida. I love this. To me, it's interesting because there was a time here, and even going back to Strong Style Evolved a week ago, Ospreay comes off just a little heelish to me. But
he's a cocky prick, though. He admits that.
But I think it's okay because it's good to have that swagger too. But I think he could come off just a little bit better. But again, in a match where you're basically rooting for two guys, Kushida, Ospreay. It's good, I guess, for somebody to come off a little bit cockier than the other. And Kushida in Japan is going to be the natural babyface, I think, in that situation. But even going back to Strong Style Evolved, when he was kind of he was confident, but almost in a heelish way when he was talking about wanting the match with Rey Mysterio, and I didn't much care for that because I want to root for both guys.
Those chaos guys in general are able to walk that fine line where they're straight baby faces, but when they need to be heels, they're more prickish, cocky, like I'm going to pop my collar about it, instead of like Suzuki-gun, where there's just pricks and interfere and do everything dastardly. Like, Chaos isn't dastardly when they're heels. They're just backing up because they're so fucking good.
Right.
And that's what's nice about that stable is they're not a Bullet Club. They're not a Suzuki-gun. They don't do none of that shit. They back up. They're the rich preppy kids in a sense.
They talk their shit and they back it up. Sure.
I like Kushida's Chuck Norris thumbs up to say, "Yeah, let's do this."
And both of those guys, Kushida and Ospreay, in their backstage promos or whatever, I liked Ospreay a lot better in the back. He thanked the fans for supporting him and stuff like that, but still came off like you said, the chaos cocky. Mm-hmm. And then Kushida was just white meat babyface all the way in the back, like, oh, I'll face him one more time, but I'm sorry, Ospreay, but I'm going to have to beat you because you lost to the heavyweight champion. You're not worthy of holding that title. So, like, he's being very respectful, but at the same time, he's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to take that championship away from you. So I love Kushida. So I'm looking forward to that match.
Problem is, I like Kushida's when he's chasing, but when he's champion, I don't know, it just seems to fall flat.
Well, and this kind of feels out of nowhere because Kushida's just kind of been off to the side and on the back burner, so there's not a lot of backstory here, but I think with Kushida kind of being out of the picture for a while, it makes it feel fresh, and it'll be something to kind of build him up going into Best of the Super Juniors next month. Another thing that these guys all talked about on their backstage promos, Ospreay didn't, but Scurll and Kushida both talked about how they're offended that so many junior heavyweights are talking about moving up to the heavyweight division and becoming heavyweights and looking for opportunities there. They're like, well, I'm proud of being a junior heavyweight and I'm proud to make this division where it's at. So I like both of them. Even like Scurll was like, this loss isn't about me. This is about Will Ospreay. He's a great champion. So he turned the villain stuff way down in the back, but then like got fucking cocky about the junior heavyweight division. So I liked that aspect of both Scurll and Kushida in the back. So cool stuff there. Let's talk that main event, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Okada. I thought this was pretty damn good. I gave this one 4.5 as far as stars go. Again, after the second watch, I liked it a lot more. I thought there was a lot going on here with early in the match, Okada showing that he could hang in the submission game with Zack Sabre, and then it kind of became about Zack Sabre overwhelming Okada making the big comeback because he's more powerful, he can dominate more in the strike game, he starts running and moving around the ring, but then he goes for the drop kick, and then fucking Zack Sabre counters out of that.
Answer for everything.
Yeah, has an answer for that, but then eventually it just becomes too much, couple 3 Rainmakers, and then it's over. Something bothered me about the way that Zack Sabre Jr. took not only the big drop kick from Okada, but took the Rainmakers. I thought looked a little weak, and it was just. I think it's
don't
just,
they always?
Well,
it's just
makes
fuck off, Joe. Joe does not like the Rainmaker
it
as a finisher.
It makes sense though that the Rainmaker would weaken this situation because like that whole match, Zack Sabre Jr. was grinding him, working every joint, every muscle, every possible,
and working that
arm,
working the Rainmaker arm,
that shoulder, everything. That whole fucking match. So, like I loved it. Like my girlfriend actually came in, kind of watched it, and I don't know if know who Eddie Bravo is, but he's one of the jiu-jitsu teachers out there, one of the big names out there in America. And Rocky Romero sounds exactly like him. So with these guys on the mat doing a very mat-based tentacle ground game, and then Rocky Romero on commentary, she's like, are you watching wrestling or a jiu-jitsu thing right now? So it was like, they were able to, bend that realism, and it was awesome, though.
I'm not a huge fan of Rocky Romero on commentary, though.
I thought he did okay.
Again, I'm not saying like horrible, but it just seemed like when they tried to throw to him the few times, like he was slow, he wasn't really on the ball with that sense, but he did, what he said was okay. Like he seemed to be able to hold himself well with the announcers.
What I liked about Rocky was when he would react well to something that was big, like a big move. He would like, oh my god, I liked him in that aspect, just reacting in a big way, almost like a Japanese announcer would react to like an awful waffle, perhaps. So I like that part of Rocky's announced game. So Other interesting stuff from this match. I like Zack Saber's kind of selling the stinger aspect of the match. Like the first time I noticed it, Okada hits him with a DDT out of nowhere, and he's like, fuck, my neck and my arm and my liver are all fucked up. And so he starts wiggling his arm. He steps outside the ropes, takes off his wrist tape. He's like, God damn, fuck it. And then later in the match, he one of the tombstone pile drivers, same thing. So the fact that Okada keeps dropping him on his head, it's fucking with his arm, it's fucking with his ability to put the submissions on him, and all of that. So I liked that story that they told in the match. That fucking seated kicking battle again, that just sitting across from each other, kicking at one another, I thought was really cool. And then tying in the Nakamura story into this,
yeah.
Nakamura being the last guy to make Okada tap out, and then fucking Zack Saber hitting that flying. He goes for the Rainmaker and counters it into the arm bar by doing it the exact same way that Nakamura does it. That was phenomenal as well. Again. Watch this one again if you were underwhelmed the first time, and I got to go back and watch that junior heavyweight match again too, because I thought that was just fucking amazing. I really wish
those were the two matches I rewatched instead of SmackDown, so it was great.
And I've only watched that Okada Zack Saber match once, and I was in right away. Like, even though like it started slow, again, not the hugest Okada guy, but I love that story of him hanging. He's hanging with Zack Saber. He's hanging with Zack Saber. Nope. He's going down. That's not happening. Zack Saber's going to wear you down, and then it's just about beating his ass.
So after the match, big story here. Okada celebrating the win. Who's going to challenge me? He just tied Tanahashi's title defense record at 11. So who comes out, of course, to challenge? Hiroshi Tanahashi. So these two have a great backstory. Basically, it took Okada several years, several attempts to defeat Tanahashi, the former ace of New Japan, at Wrestle Kingdom. Finally did it back in 2010. No. That was Wrestle Kingdom 11. That was the Wrestle Kingdom before the Wrestle Kingdom with Kenny Omega, Wrestle Kingdom 12. And wait a minute. We just had...
Get the schematics.
Which one did we just have? We just had 12 or 13?
I feel like it was 12.
Okay, yeah, 12. Anyway.
Wow, fucking professionals.
My point is, it took Okada several years to defeat Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome. I'm pretty sure it was 10, now that I'm thinking about it, because it was Okada, Tanahashi in the main event, and Nakamura versus AJ Styles in the semi-main for the Intercontinental. By the way, that match is free on njpwworld.com and on their YouTube page for those of you that are WrestleMania fans looking forward to the Nakamura versus AJ match at WrestleMania, and you have not seen the Wrestle Kingdom one. It's up for free now on YouTube.
Yeah, just do that.
And and on njpwworld.com. So anyway, so now Tanahashi's challenging because Tanahashi doesn't want him to break the record of 11 title defenses. But Okada's attitude is like, I beat you several years ago. You got injured. You came back. You got injured. You came back. And now you're just a loser. You lost the New Japan Cup. You've lost these other matches. You lost your Minoru Suzuki Championship. I'm kind of bored with all of this. So that's Okada's attitude going into this match. I'm looking forward to see what kind of shit Tanahashi talks back in some of the post-match promos and stuff coming up on these. We got tons of Wrestling Dontaku Road 2 shows coming up where they'll be facing off in tag matches, I'm assuming. But this is all playing in. It all makes sense because Tanahashi had a couple of tag matches prior to this event in the build-up to this where he was getting in Okada's face a little bit. So, again, New Japan telling that story in the multi-man tags leading up to the events, and now we have the challenge.
It's that time to get Tanahashi in that spot now.
Yeah, and honestly, Tanahashi's last couple of matches haven't been blow away, but I really liked the Suzuki match and even the Wrestle Kingdom match. Again, the Switchblade part of it, it was underwhelming. It could have been better, but I think Tanahashi, in this spot, was really going to deliver, and Okada has been delivering great matches this entire run. So I really think that this is going to deliver, hopefully, coming up here in about a month or so. We're about a month away from that match. So we'll preview all of those all those Dontaku big matches, the big championship matches that they just announced here. We'll talk about those in a couple of minutes here after we go over the rest of the Sakura Genesis card. The Golden Lovers took on Cody and Hangman Page in the semi-main event of this show. Another really good tag match here. I thought this was just under 4 stars, a 3 3/4 story here.
Hangman made this match for me.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the experience, like who he's been in the ring with and like how young he is, and watching him just get more and more experience. He's got the attitude. This
big dick.
Again, huge dick, like massive. Like, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard stories. But yeah, he's developed a lot.
PowerPoints.
He's developed a lot over the last year and a half or so. Him joining the Bullet Club has helped. That match he had with Switchblade last week, good match, but the crowd not into it. But again, developing, having a big singles match in a big spot, and getting the crowd into it. I mean, the story of that was the crowd being into that match by the end of it. It took them a long time to get the crowd into it, but they were into it by the end. And yeah, I like him in this spot. Cody getting the win here, the fucking WWE finish, the roll up with the tights after Page stops. Page, comes in and stops them from winning with the stops Ibushi from winning with the Kamigoye. So the distraction finish or whatever, the bullshit finish. Cody teasing this big top rope dive onto Omega through a table. The Young Bucks come out, but they won't shake Cody's hand, so that stops Cody from jumping off the top rope. So the Young Bucks and Cody starting to break up a little bit. This also plays into being the Elite. The Young Bucks continuing to show that they're not trusting Cody. They finally figured out that, oh my God, Cody tried to convince you to be a singles wrestler and me to be a singles wrestler and tried to convince Marty to go out on his own and start the Villain Club. So the Young Bucks are definitely not trusting Cody anymore. But Cody said after this match with Kenny Omega, this is it. That's going to be it. That's going to be the end of the conflict. This will be the deciding factor. But to me,
Bullet Club is okay. Bullet Club is fine.
But here's what's interesting to me too. I feel, and we'll get into that match itself, but I almost feel like Kenny is out of the Bullet Club right now.
Right?
He's doing the thing with the Golden Lovers. Him and Ibushi are even though they lost this match, they are improving. Like in this match, all of their signature stuff was like spot on. Mm-hmm. They looked great in the match, and they talked about that in their post match.
I forget the one move too. They got so many signature moves that they work
cross
on together.
Slash.
But yeah, they still can't nail it. They're still struggling on it, and something still keeps interfering with it. And they pointed it out on a commentary. They're like, they still can't quite get that move to hit. So
well, the double moonsault, the cross slash, that one was beautiful. I thought, in the match.
I wish I remember what move it was.
They were. I think they went up for that.
I think you're talking about the golden showers.
Yeah, the double 450 or whatever. They still didn't execute that yet. That one kept getting.
But I like that there's
up.
moves that they're still working on together and trying to perfect them yet. Because when they do nail them, boom, it's gonna be such a big fucking moment. Still,
Omega kicked Cody in the eye, busting him open, which was kind of unfortunate because it put a little sympathy on Cody in the match. But it just brought me back to Dusty Rhodes with the fucking blonde hair and the blood in it. Go ahead.
I was just going to point out, this is one of the little nitpicky things about this show I have, and it was actually the commentary, was that during the Will Ospreay one, because again, you felt like it was planned, the blood, they brought up over and over again, like, wow, this could get close to a stoppage, wow, like this. Not once, and his cut was pretty fucking bad on his head, did they bring up the fact that this could be stopped by referee stoppage just because of blood. Not a single time it was brought up. So I just, consistency, but again, that's nitpicky.
The springboard dropkick doomsday device after teasing the one-winged angel off the apron to the table. That was amazing. Cody and Hangman Page attack Kota Ibushi after the match. Kenny makes the save, of course. Again, great story. Really good match. I mean, Cody's been impressing lately. What a fucking great heel Cody is. I love hating Cody Rhodes, and he's doing such a great job.
You're hating Cody Rhodes for hating Cody Rhodes is cool.
I know, right? Well, I still tune into Ring of Honor TV and then see them goddamn crowds cheering Cody Rhodes. But it was great on this week because that all stopped as soon as he started talking shit about Kenny Omega. So that's the saving grace there for the Ring of Honor fans. But yeah, Cody, the new gear with like the American flag's fucking cod piece basically on his, it's just so fucking cocky.
He's that American fucking heel, the American Nightmare, man. It's great.
And then being the Elite and on the social media talking about, I'm the leader of the Bullet Club. I'm going to unveil a new Bullet Club logo. And everybody's like, what the fuck? The Bullet Club logo is like the most awesome, iconic thing, and you're just going to change it. You're just going to make your own fucking fuck you. And it was the same thing on being the Elite. As soon as the Young Bucks and Marty Scurll and everybody heard about changing the Bullet Club logo, that's ludicrous. What an awful idea. And so it got revealed that the new Bullet Club logo is just Bullet Club, but with it's basically a Cody Bullet
Missiles,
Club shirt.
American flag, blonde hair.
It's two cigars.
Oh, were they cigars? I thought they were missiles.
No, it's two cigars because Cody loves cigars, and then the blonde hair above the Bullet Club or whatever.
The blonde hair is what makes it for me, man.
Yeah,
that was such a smart move.
Yeah, that blonde hair is just so great.
It's 80s supervillain. Like, I love it.
The guy who's trying to destroy the ski lodge, on the mountain.
Well, it's just speaking to that aspect of it.
Xander.
They did on being the Elite this week. They did like a tribute to a boy band. Basically, Marty Scurll is
Too Sweet
is releasing his new song. They're working on a music video, and they're all dressed in white, and they got white sunglasses on, and shorts, and white sandals and socks. Cody's got a fucking upside down backwards visor on, so they're
looking fly.
Dude, that album's gonna be good. Sweet for you.
Yeah, that was obnoxious and amazing at the same time. So it's fun to see parts of the Bullet Club kind of doing the silliness there with Cody, but then everything playing out storyline-wise, not only on being the lead, preposterous as it is.
Hot Topic was using it as their advertisement they're like, hey, get the new Too Sweet album, and you click it. It was like, just kidding. April Fools, everything's 30% off. So it's like awesome that they were using those guys as their promotional material.
Supposedly that shirt is still going to be made, though. The T-shirt will be made of Too Sweet, and I will be buying that shirt. And again, what the part about that being the Elite I love the most is the fact that Marty's the one that is super excited about it. Like he's
yes.
Everybody else is like, yeah, we'll do it. This is cool and everything. But Marty's just like, I am so excited.
That's why I'm glad he just had this fucking stellar match, because I don't want to say he needed it, but he did need a good match like this because, he's been that Marty lately. He's the villain still, and, he's getting on that side where he's the lovable villain. You want to sing Backstreet Boys with him and giggle and have, giggle fits and shit like that. That match just made him like, oh, the villain. Marty Scurll.
And that gets me more excited for his title match with Dalton Castle that's coming up this weekend. So, we'll get into all of that here in a little bit. Other stuff from Sakura Genesis. Let's go back. Let's just go to the beginning of the show. Young Bucks taking on Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens. Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. This is awful booking. There's no reason for these teams to be these four to be upset at each other. The Young Bucks talk about this in their post-match promo. Also on Being the Elite, this is addressed. So it is kind of interesting because Chase and Yujiro were teaming with Kota Ibushi on the last tour. So being kind of on Team Kenny. Young Bucks were kind of torn. Obviously, they just had the Golden Lovers match. Matt's still kind of coming around on Kenny, but Nick is definitely on Team Kenny. They didn't want to fight their friend, but they're still coming back to their friend, and they're absolutely not trusting Cody Rhodes, so they're definitely not Team Cody at this point. So they didn't like having this match, but the Young Bucks got the win with the sharpshooter.
The beginning of the match, I love them attacking the Young Bucks right away. Just like, fuck you.
But then you had the respect afterwards and all of that. But
decent match though. Again, that Chase Owens is just
Chase is on the
secret weapon, man.
He just keeps turning it up just a little bit. Ever since I watched him in that fucking Rumble at Wrestle Kingdom, fucking package pile driving everybody.
Yes,
I'm on this guy's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Iizuka and Tai Chi taking on Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. Yano and Ishii getting the win here. Roll up after low blows after Tai Chi knocks down the referee. So yeah, low blows, cheating. Tai Chi and Iizuka trying to use the Iron Claw, doing all the bullshit. They bust out all the bullshit in the match. And because this is the second match, not a lot at stake yet. Yano's there. It's fucking entertaining. Tai Chi entertaining at this point as well. I was fine with this. I enjoyed what this was. Again, a change of pace from what was going on with the Young Bucks in the opener, and an absolute change of pace to what would come next in the Never Six-Man match, which was a little more serious. And I liked that. Just anything to talk about in the Yano match. First of all, Yano and Ishii.
Yano for champion.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Tag champs? I mean,
no. I want him to be the heavyweight champion.
Heavyweight champ.
I want him to beat Okada. I want him to break Okada's streak, and I don't want him to get the 11th time.
Focus on business.
The bullshit continues.
Okay, so that 6-man Never Championship match, Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale teaming up to go against Taguchi, Michael Elgin, Togi Makabe. This was, for a Never 6-man match, thought this was fun. I thought this was exactly what it needed to be. It was the big men squaring off at the beginning of the match, but then Taguchi getting that hot tag coming in and running wild with fucking funky weapons and hip attacks on everybody. Fucking Tama Tonga trying to hit a hip attack and missing, shit like that. And anytime fucking here comes Taguchi running in and misses that fucking funky weapon and lands on his ass, I get a kick. I pop for that every time. So this was
who I don't remember who it was, but someone was beating the shit out of fucking Michael Elgin. I'm just like, God, I need this to continue. Please continue.
Yes.
Choke him.
That's the problem here in this match, again, is the context and the presentation. Gorillas of Destiny and Fale, I think, are supposed to be the heels, and everybody's supposed to be cheering for Taguchi, Elgin, and Makabe, but the Elgin thing in there, him and his fucking...
Yeah, it was Fale. He was choking his ass.
Elgin and his fucking white and red, bullshit.
I think it's Elgin.
Juiced up jelly.
Mike Elgin, let me tell you something, boy. You big juiced up jelly bean looking mother...
Looked like a big red and white jelly bean in this show. But yeah, it's hard to root for anything like that again. But too, I like Gorillas of Destiny and Tama Tonga. And fucking... So these guys won on a Road 2 show. They beat Elgin and Makabe and somebody else, and Elgin and Makabe end up challenging these guys for the 6-mans anyway, even though they lost, and then they go get Taguchi to be their partner. And so after that match, you're like, fuck, do you guys want to challenge us? Why don't you, tell you what, follow us on Twitter, and then send us a message on Twitter, but follow us first, and that's where you can challenge it. Challenge us on Twitter. You're not worthy of challenging us. Everybody should follow us on Twitter. Tox Fale.
Fucking love Fale.
He is awesome.
And then after this match, they're like, yeah, you guys challenged, you lost the first time, you lost tonight, and you know what? You never followed us on Twitter either. So make sure you follow. And both him and not Tama Tonga, but Tonga Loa get their Twitter handles out there on their backstage commentary. And so I just get a kick out of Fale. And then first it's Chase Owens as the honorary Tongan, and now he's like, everybody follow me on Twitter. So
I really do want to get one of those shirts.
Yeah, that is a fun
honorary Tongan.
Yes. Then Tanahashi, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson taking on Jay White, Yoshihashi, and Hirooki Goto in the battle of the boring gimmicks. Here, I mean, Tanahashi was really the most over guy in the match. David Finlay, he's got an upcoming match for the U.S. title.
He had some fire in the match. There's nothing behind him.
Right. Juice, Juice is kind of who he is. He's got the new look. He's kind of a polarizing figure. I like Juice. Yeah. It comes across as a gimmick, but I feel like he lives the gimmick. Like when he does the shit backstage, like he's trying not to swear because he's supposed to be the babyface, but he's got to say fuck. He's got to say shit. That's who he is.
I really enjoyed though. Don Callis actually helped me put a Finlay over because he was talking about how they both were young lions together and they're the same age, but Jay White is so much further than he is, and Finley isn't. He's like, I would hate to be going to that Finley Easter table on Sunday and having Dad being, where's that championship belt, son? How come Jay White has it? So it's just like that kind of helped, stick that story out a little bit more too. And I thought it was such an awesome job by Don Callis there.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
he was killing it all night.
Yeah, Don's really come into his own on commentary for New Japan. I mean, it's been about a little over a year in the making now, but yeah, I need Don Callis on commentary with Kevin Kelly. But going back to this match in particular, I thought they told good stories here. I mean, I'm always the first guy to talk shit about Goto and Yoshihashi, and David Finlay needs to go on excursion, and nobody likes the Jay White switchblade thing. But I thought
feather penis.
I thought the story that they told was fucking Finlay hitting Switchblade with the stunner in the match, his finisher, and then Juice hitting Goto with the unprettier, the
Pulp Friction.
Pulp Friction, yes. So those guys hitting their finishers on their would-be opponents, and then Tanahashi getting the win over Yoshihashi with the high fly flow. So Tanahashi needing the win with momentum because he's got the big match coming up, but then the other two guys on the teams hitting their would-be opponents with their finishers too. And what I did like about this too, and it's very rare for me to say this, I liked the David Finlay and the Switchblade post-match promos for this match. David Finlay was like, hey man, you come in here, you go on excursion, you go to Ring of Honor, you wrestle once a month. I was back here busting my ass, wrestling every night. You're over there in America taking it easy. And yeah, I guess I'd go a little crazy too and turn into a maniac if I only had to wrestle once a month too. So he's talking that shit. And then Jay White comes talking some of his own shit. He's like, I busted my ass to get to New Japan. That's why I'm better than you. You got here because of your name. You're here because of a favor. Right. So I'm better than you.
That's awesome.
I beat you all the time. So these two talking shit back and forth was really good. I thought. I mean, I don't remember any good David Finlay promo. So this had a nice,
the perfect feud for him though. Right now, it's working.
I mean, this had a nice amount of realism in there, and it made me more excited for their upcoming match because, quite frankly, I mean, fucking Switchblade just beat him a couple of months ago in a singles match, a non-title. So I was like, well, that was that, and that's really the story. Again, this I think is part of a longer ongoing story because I don't think David Finlay was going to beat Switchblade at all. But it makes this a more interesting match, and I believe that's a longer story. I mean, at some point, David Finlay, if and when he gets over, that'll be the time to have him beat Jay White. But until he gets over, we're just not there yet, and that'll be a story that we follow as we go along.
I concur.
Evil, Sonata, and Tetsuya Naito taking on Minoru Suzuki and the Killer Elite Squad. This again, building up the Killer Elite Squad to face Evil and Sonata. They get the win with the Killer Bomb over Evil again. 6-man match. Thought it was good. Naito's got his new mask as he's coming out. Los Ingobernables are fucking provoking Suzuki early on in the match. They brawl at ringside and take over. Davey Boy Smith Jr. does this big top rope leg drop and misses. I thought that was a great no water in the pool.
What's the other guy's name in the Killer Elite Squad?
Clinton Dix.
Classic.
Lance Archer.
Oh man, him scaring that little kid was the best.
Great.
Just fucking screaming in the kid's
especially in the
face.
same week, I think it was Sammy Callahan got attacked by a dad for making a kid cry, or somebody did recently.
It was. I saw a video of an indie guy.
Oh, was it an indie guy?
Yeah, he spits gum at a kid, and the dad.
Oh, is that
goes,
what it was? Okay,
but I thought I might have heard something about Sammy Callahan too, but I didn't see.
I thought it was Sammy Callahan.
Well, I think it's just because
Callahan making a kid cry.
That's certainly possible, and Sammy Callahan's just known for spit flying everywhere too, so I could see where the confusion.
But
would
I thought
be.
It was such a good timing because we had that on there, and that started that whole debate of getting in kids' faces and what kind of heat's good heat, and fucking here comes Lance Archer. Fuck everyone! I'm spitting water on all of you. I'm getting as close to that kid as I can. Dad has a smile on his face. We good.
Get set to get wet.
And then props to New Japan too. Later on in the show too, I did see them go back to those that dad and the kid. The kid was fine.
Yeah, the kid was enjoying
people.
himself by the end of the
These
show.
These kids need to be scared a little bit. They need to get that heat. I wish we could feel that.
Yeah. So the story here was the post-match with Naito basically kind of calling out Suzuki, being like, hey, that Intercontinental Championship looks like it wants to leave you. Looks like it's kind of bored with you. And, that championship, it felt like that title meant more to people when I had it and was just fucking throwing it around. So Suzuki gets in the ring. Naito just lays down on the ground. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm tranquilo. He's like, yeah, you just lay there because you're scum. That's where you belong, on the ground. Fuck off, you bastard. And nothing comes of it, but Naito basically throwing out the challenge there. So interesting stuff. Is that IC title going to make its way back to Tetsuya Naito? Fun, interesting stuff there. Then the 6-man, or not 6-man, but the 3-way for the IWGP Jr tag titles, Bushi and Hiromu versus Roppongi 3K versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This kind of was what it was for me. It was okay. It didn't really stand out as great. Again, with Suzuki Gun retaining, Desperado getting the pin when he's not the legal man, and then going to the back afterwards and bragging like, yeah, we won the match because we're the better team. We played by the rules. All the rules were in our favor.
It's them.
And it felt short, too.
Well, there wasn't much heat there. It was a match we'd already seen. I feel like Sho and Roppongi 3K, they're not over enough to where the crowd people like them, but they're not like clamoring for them to get the titles back at this point. I think
it's like they win them, they lose them. They win them, they lose them. It's like, oh.
And Bushi and Hiromu are more over at this point. And right now, that's the story that they're telling, because he hits the time bomb, he kicks out the first time, hits the time bomb a second time, and then one of the guys, Suzuki Gun guys, yanks the ref out of the ring. So again, bullshit there. Fucking Suzuki Gun back. We're playing by the rules, but they pull the ref out, so he can't get the pinfall with the time bomb. And so that's going to be the matchup, as the 2-on-2, Bushi and Hiromu versus Suzuki Gun, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and El Desperado.
It'll be fun
on the Dontaku show. So let's talk about these
Desperado.
These Road to Wrestling Dontaku shows and the championship matches they've got coming up on these shows. So we got here's the thing, is some people say New Japan has way too many titles, way too many championships. What's going on? But I kind of like it because we've got a bunch of different shows on a bunch of different days, but each of them have one or two championship matches. So you got your undercard stuff, but then you got something with bigger stakes in the main event or main events of these shows. So I kind of like it. I'm into it. So on the 23rd of this month, Hiromu and Bushi are going to take on El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru for the junior tag titles. Then on the 24th, the next day, David Finlay versus Jay White for the IWGP US title. Then a couple of days later, on the 27th, I believe these are all going to be at Korakuen Hall as well, or most of them are. But yeah, the 27th, Goto versus Juice for the Never Openweight title. Then on the 29th, a couple of days after that, we got two big matches. Sonata and Evil taking on the Killer Elite Squad for the tag titles. They've been building that one up really good. And then the main event for that show, Naito versus Suzuki for the IC title. Then on the 3rd of May, Gorillas of Destiny and Fale versus Marty Scurll and the Young Bucks for the Never Six-Man title. So another Bullet Club versus Bullet Club deal here. The Young Bucks are going to be calling this more bad booking, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the things are with the
So much can happen in a month.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. I mean, obviously, what's the story coming out of Supercard when Kenny finally faces Cody? And what does happen with the Bullet Club going out of that?
They're fine.
Does Kenny take over leadership if he wins? Does Kenny leave the Bullet Club entirely? Does Kenny lose and Cody maintain control of the Bullet Club and then Kenny leaves? Who knows? There's a lot of questions going into that. Then on the 4th of May, the big final of the Wrestling Dontaku tour, Will Ospreay versus Kushida for the junior heavyweight, and in the main event, Okada versus Tanahashi. So lots of big matches over the next month building up to that the Dontaku show. So I like it.
We got We got some shows coming up.
Absolutely. It's never going to slow down for this New Japan and Ring of Honor ride. All right. Let's talk Ring of Honor's TV and preview Supercard of Honor this weekend. What's so funny over there? I don't get it.
Oh, we're just reenacting like the intro video every time you play the Ring of Honor. Right. So I'm all like punching the air. We watch too much Ring of Honor TV, apparently.
Probably the thing. Before we get into the TV, one of the things that was they highlighted the Kingdom not being allowed to go to Supercard of Honor. They're off the card, so they cut a promo threatening to show up at Supercard of Honor and ruin all of the fun.
And they should.
Yeah, fucking Melvins.
And then the other part of the story here is Matt Taven defeated Volador Jr. in CMLL for the NWA World Welterweight Championship. Volador Jr. had that title for 3.5 years.
Wow.
So this is a big deal down there in CMLL.
Oh, yeah, you could fucking, that crowd was like, huh?
Oh, did you actually watch the match?
I watched some clips of it. I do plan on going back and watching it,
Nice.
though. But yeah, you can just buy some clips so you can just tell the whole crowd just bug-eyed, shocked, like, what the fuck just happened?
Wow,
and
cool.
I love how he even played into this a little bit, for days now. Matt Taven's even like, hey, Ring of Honor, where's my love? I won this championship. I'm breaking records. Where's, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I've been enjoying Matt Taven more and more the more he's been doing. The Kingdom stuff has been kind of here or there, but I like that they call what's his name, the sassy wild horse, and Marcelia's crazy and nuts or whatever too. So
the Horror King and
showing up with a fucking axe and whatnot.
An actual axe.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what those guys end up doing at Supercard, showing up or whatever.
Chaos.
Not a ton to talk about Ring of Honor TV. We did have a nice back and forth promo between Cody and Kenny Omega to wrap up the show. Fucking Cody talking some good shit. It's like, he says, I got kicked out of WWE. He got kicked out of their developmental system. And then he had the gall to put his hands on my wife. Then Kenny comes out and says, it was actually her that forced herself on me. And news alert, this isn't the first time this has happened, and I think she wants to do it again, Cody. And the big pull apart brawl.
I mean, she did go milk first with the cereal on being the Elite as well.
Yes, I forgot.
Flip's been doing that too.
Yeah. The flat earther stuff, the milk first stuff. I forgot about that. That's that's a lot of fun. Omega interrupting Cody, saying, before you start doing all this Bullet Club stuff, why don't you check with the leader of the Bullet Club, referring to himself, of course, Omega. So a good promo building up to Supercard, big pull apart brawl at the end, of course. Good stuff there. The show opened this week with the Briscoes versus Dalton Castle and Kenny King, the Champions Challenge. All the champions versus each other. Briscoes looked good in the match. It was a decent match. Scurll is out there on commentary talking shit about Dalton Castle the entire time, rooting for the Briscoes openly. But then it was Silas Young coming out and distracting Kenny King that led to the Briscoes being able to get the finish and get the win. So I like that the tag champs get the win, even though it was kind of the wonky, silly distraction finish or whatever. Cheeseburger versus Kikutaro, a Japanese comedy wrestler. Thank God the guy is Japanese, because he comes out in a very cartoony, cliche Japanese mask thing. But ends up
sex doll like
ends up being a DQ. I don't know that that's the case, but
all right, let's focus on business.
What were we talking about?
Kikutaro versus Cheeseburger. Anyway, didn't really matter. It was a short little comedy match, couple of funny spots. The dogs are out there on commentary. Apparently, the narrative there is that Little Willie drinks too much, and Bully Ray didn't allow him to be on a show earlier, and he's out there drinking more. Colt Cabana's like, oh my God, I can smell it. So apparently, the dogs party a bit too much. They attack Cheeseburger and Kikutaro, so that'll be a match we get.
I love Cheeseburger's new look, too.
Yeah, and he got the new music, too.
New music, yep.
I always got a kick out of the old music because it was just like, what kind of wrestling theme music is this? But he got something a little more custom, a little more up to date or whatever. So I liked that.
Doesn't sound like a 5-year-old's coming out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Although he does look like a 5. He's got a little swag though now. He's got like the
cowboy
hat, sunglasses.
He's looking smooth.
Yeah. We did have a Women of Honor tournament match on here, which was one of the better Women of Honor tournament matches. Not anything absolutely great, but I thought it was really good. Mayu Iwatani versus Deonna Purrazzo. Mayu Iwatani looked really good. She's very good. Purrazzo is absolutely improving, but just not quite on that level of this one, of Mayu Iwatani. And I thought the right person won. Mayu got the win.
Awesome.
So I was surprised by that. I thought they would for sure be pushing Deonna Purrazzo in this situation, but they didn't do that. They are pushing the person that looks like the better wrestler to the to the finals of the tournament.
Well, and going with this whole Women of Honor tournament, when was the best match that I've seen was the ones they showed from Japan with these ladies. Like these ones actually looked like they had experience, knew what they're doing. The girls in Ring of Honor, I mean, minus Tennille Dashwood and Kelly Klein, maybe. The other ones were looking very green, very slow. Like, actually, I was going to throw this out to you, and I'm not trying to be sexist here, but do you think the women wrestlers would benefit from a slightly smaller ring? And I'm not talking gigantic leaps and strides here. I mean, a little bit.
I think
could make a difference.
I think women's wrestlers in general would benefit from shorter ropes.
Okay,
because of the size, they're not quite as tall as a lot of the men. But I could see your point there.
Just being able to get back and forth on the ropes a little bit.
Ring of Honor's wise, it's just not more so anything like that. It's more bringing in the Tennille Dashwoods, the people with more experience that they can work with, like Mandy Leon, for example. It's hard to say, I don't want to be mean, but a lot of times she's painful to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
But she just had that, little tour in Japan. Right. She came back and, she's learning, and she's proof that someone's just like, get more experience, spend the money out there, Ring of Honor, get some of those experienced girls in there, and, it's going to help shine your stars up even brighter. So
Mayu Iwatani is going to take on Kelly Klein in the semifinals, and Tennille Dashwood's taking on Sumi Sakai on the other side of the semifinals. And I believe these are going to be Supercard of Honor, like pre-show matches. I don't think they're on the regular card, but I think they'll be available on Honor Club and or YouTube. So check those out, because those should be Tennille versus Sumi should be really good, and then Mayu versus Kelly Klein should be pretty decent too. So we'll look forward to those. So that was pretty much Ring of Honor TV this week. Let's preview Supercard of Honor, maybe throw some predictions out there. We're going to have Silas Young versus Kenny King in the TV title match. Where the fuck is Austin Aries in all of this? He challenged Kenny King at the last pay-per-view, but he didn't show up on Ring of Honor TV. We know he's probably going to be there for Impact, but we shall certainly see if he shows up in this situation to challenge whoever the winner of this. This is going to be a last man standing match. Kenny King made the challenge to the Silas Young signature match. Personally, I'd like to see Silas get the win. That's who I think all three of us
would. Silas needs to beat the shit out of Kenny King in this match. This is Silas's match, and I don't think he should have lost it in the first place. I just don't think Kenny King has he's not quite there yet. He's got it in the ring, but that personality, the selfie thing, it's not working for me. Silas has got his gimmick. We know what he is. He's the last fucking real man in wrestling, and he's been looking better and better this entire year.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
See, the selfie thing is working for me. Like, he's on the right path. It's not great. It's nothing to brag about, but it's part of the grind right now, and he's doing it, and it's working for me.
He has put in the work.
I want Silas Young to win this, especially since it's his fucking match. He needs to kind of win this match. If it wasn't a last man standing match, I'd be saying Kenny King would win. But
I just feel like there's not momentum there behind Kenny King. They tried to push coming out of the reality show thing that he had last year. Just wasn't there. He's improved, I think. He looks good in the ring, but he just kind of is where he is. He doesn't feel like a championship level guy.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have faith in him. Give him a little run, see how that goes. Mahal him in a sense. But sometimes it's just it's a sink or swim business. Sometimes you just got to throw it on a guy, see where it goes, and it's either going to blossom to something great or see ya. Beat it, nerd.
Hangman Page versus Kota Ibushi. Lots of little interesting stories, tidbits here. Kota Ibushi and the Golden Lovers. Hangman Page with the Bullet Club stuff. Hangman Page is firmly on Team Cody, but he is having nightmares about Joey Ryan throwing
who's gonna take up that challenge? Because Hangman won't. Who's that secret man behind the camera?
Yeah, interesting stuff there. But yeah, he's having nightmares about the dick flip and Joey Ryan pouring piss down his throat. he's not going to take him out. What's he going to do? So yeah, it'll be interesting here versus Ibushi. I'd kind of like to see a momentum building win for Hangman Page here. That would be a big thing for Hangman Page. I feel like Ibushi's probably going to get the win here. But what do you guys think?
See, I was thinking the same thing that I want to see a Hangman Page win, but I think he's going to take this win just because, one, it is Ring of Honor, and it's not really going to – I just don't see it affecting that match between, Golden Lovers and Cody and oh, no, that's already happened, huh?
Yeah.
It's Omega and Kenny.
Well, then, yeah, so it really doesn't matter. So, yeah, I definitely think Hangman Page is getting this win over Ibushi just because of the Ring of Honor factor.
Taco?
Same. Ibushi has nothing to lose if he loses and nothing to gain if he wins.
What do you think? Is this match going to be better than the Switchblade match at Strong Style Evolved? But I think it's going to be way different just because it's Ring of Honor. It's not going to be that New Japan Championship match style main event. So I think the Ring of Honor fans will probably like this better because it's probably going to be a shorter and faster paced match.
Exactly. And they're going to it's going to be more of a one-upmanship kind of a match where like the Switchblade was more of a fuck it, let's fight.
Yeah, and I think the athleticism is going to be very high in this match, as well as some of the striking.
They both have high bars.
Another great, tremendous test for Hangman, too, which is great.
Punishment Martinez versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh, man.
Pumped for this.
I did not hear about that one. That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, this should be a very interesting, hard-hitting style match, although Punishment Martinez brings it in the athletic department, too, jumping off the ropes and over posts and stuff.
And he's been stepping it up, too, lately.
And that's something Ishii's doesn't have to face very often when it comes to, he's faced high flyers all the time, but someone of fucking his size, like jumping over the ropes at Ishii, oh, it's magic right there.
I feel like this might be a little bit of kind of Ishii's go-to match in that he's facing the bigger man. The last time I saw this was, who did he face?
Haha, Klindix.
It was in Rev Pro, and it was a great match, and I don't remember if it was, I want to say it was Jeff Cobb, but it might have been Keith Lee.
It's Keith Lee.
Was it Keith Lee?
I believe so.
It was the match where he kept trying to hit the Brainbuster and couldn't hit it and couldn't hit it and couldn't hit it. And finally hits him in the end and wins the match. I feel like that could be a part of the Ishii story in this match with Martinez. But definitely with Martinez being able to bring that athleticism, I think that'll add an interesting amount of danger and what's going to happen in that match. I think Ishii gets the win, but you never know. What do you guys think?
Devil's advocate. I've been really on Punishment Martinez's side, and I want to see him get this win over Ishii because, again, I'm not even saying for that factor, but I think Martinez needs that win. He needs a solid win over a heavyweight contender. He's been facing Marty Scurll, Dalton Castle, some technically smaller guys. I want to see him beat a big man, so I got Martinez in this one.
That'd be some big momentum for him going forward. Taco?
I can't go against Ishii, man. He's my guy. He's my guy.
6-man match for the I believe it's for the 6-man titles. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
The ladder match?
Yeah, the ladder match.
Yep.
Yeah, SoCal Uncensored.
SoCal against
Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks.
With no kingdom.
Right.
They never got a rematch.
Right, exactly. Kingdom deserves
Fucking conspiracy.
the 6-man rematch, so look for the Kingdom to show up here. And since this is a ladder match, I'm sure it's a no disqualification, anything goes type of affair. As I look for the thing here, it's on the other page, that's why.
This matchup is now anything goes.
So certainly the Kingdom could be at play. Look for Bully Ray to be running around chasing them out of there potentially. But this is going to be one fucking hell of a match. SoCal Uncensored and the Young Bucks. Anytime you've got those two teams involved, you bring ladders into the thing. Flip Gordon's going to be flipping and going crazy off of everything. Scorpio Sky has something to prove. He's never showed up in too many of these matches yet. And plus, with that Kingdom factor there looming, certainly is part of the story there as well. I think SoCal Uncensored retain at this point, but I think it'd be a really fun story if the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon, who's not in the Bullet Club, who Cody doesn't like, become the 6-man champions. It would add a very interesting Vince Russo-esque part of the story to what's going on in the Bullet Club.
Which is April, May, June, July. Yeah, it's too long to hold on to those for All In.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you can hang on to titles for a long time, but SoCal Uncensored just won the titles too. So, and
I kind of want to see them retain. I like the assholeness. They've just been tearing it up too.
Well, and the story with them too is their contracts are up at the end of the year, and then they're going to be fired from Ring of Honor after that as part of the story. So if they have this 6-man championship and go on a long run, do they finally get back over with the crowd somehow? And does the crowd clamor for them to come back, or is this the Christopher Daniels retirement tour? Who knows? But with them holding the 6-man titles for a while, I think that would play into that story. And quite frankly, the Bullet Club, Young Bucks, and Flip Gordon don't really need the titles either. But it would put some credibility on those titles. Taco, do you have any different predictions there?
Nope, same.
The Briscoes versus Jay Lethal and Tanahashi in the tag title match, I guess. I'm pretty sure the Briscoes get the win here, but it'll be fun to see Tanahashi teaming up with Jay Lethal.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, they've been tearing it up. Why take it away from them, especially with technically two guys that aren't going to be around?
Yeah, same.
Great match, though.
Marty Scurll versus Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor title.
Oh my God.
Yeah, after Sakura Genesis coming out of that, does Scurll take it easy? After all, this isn't the main event. The main event's Kenny versus Cody. That's what everybody's showing up for. That's what everybody paid their money for. But this could be something sneaky here. I think Scurll's got a pretty good chance of actually taking the title off of Dalton. Lots of momentum behind Marty Scurll. I feel like Ring of Honor needs a bigger star as the champion. I mean, Dalton Castle is over, but to me, I've said it before, he just doesn't feel like
you
championship.
Put him on fucking camera.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
with him except for backstage segments.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like I kind of agree with Tommy in the sense that we need a better star as Ring of Honor champion, but I agree with you, Taco, in the sense that where the fuck has Dalton Castle been besides the stupid little vignettes? You know, you've got so much in the back. He had a match recently, but I can't even remember. So it's like
I want to see him on Twitter at fucking fashion shows, fucking at parties, going to the museum, just random shit with it. Like, just what he would do, like drinking mimosas. Like, why is he not doing crazy shit with this championship?
It's wonderful.
He's Ring of Honor TV's been more about the Bullet Club and what's going on with all of those guys. So yeah, Dalton Castle's kind of been lost in the mix, and it would make sense with how Ring of Honor's been putting over the Bullet Club so much. It would make sense for it to go to Marty Scurll at this point, and I like that. I don't get me wrong, I like Dalton Castle. I'm into it, but it just doesn't feel like the Ring of Honor Championship to me.
See, I'm going against the grain. I'm sticking with Dalton Castle on this one.
I feel it will be Marty Scurll because it'll add to the Bullet Club drama, and he's got the fucking Ring of Honor. He's got if he gets the Ring of Honor title, what does Cody think of that? I mean, it sets it all up. Yeah.
Finally, in the main event, the Bullet Club explodes. Kenny Omega versus Cody. So much could happen coming out of this match. I really think Kenny Omega has to win and gets the win here. I think that's the story they're telling. Cody has been winning the matches on the build-up. He's been getting the momentum, but he hasn't been. He's been such a great heel in that he loses when it's time to lose. He loses to Kota Ibushi in the singles match. He lost another a big spot match more recently than that. I can't remember which one now. Well, the Golden Lovers match just recently from Strong Style Evolved with the Golden Lovers getting the win there. But I guess that was the Young Bucks anyway. So, but anyway, Cody wins when it feels like it's not big stakes, and then he loses when it is big stakes. Yep. But what is the story they're telling? Does he get the shitty win here, bring it back at All In September? That's the question. What are we doing here? Are we doing some Vince Russo-ass booking?
My botch.
We don't know. But I feel like Kenny Omega winning is the story, and then the strife amongst the Bullet Club against Cody Rhodes with the Young Bucks and Marty Scurll. Do they get Cody the fuck out of there, or does Cody rally the Tongan end of the Bullet Club and kick out the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega? I think that's a possibility as well.
That'd be awesome.
With
fucking Cody rocking all over the.
I mean,
but they don't want nothing to do with Cody though.
What's
the
that?
Tongan side?
Yeah, you're right.
Like in that match that they had, they're not so any of his shit. They're just like, you're beneath us. Like, what the fuck you doing here?
You're right. So, but I have this picture in my head when Cody revealed that he's going to be coming up with a new Bullet Club logo, even though it was just basically a gimmick for being the Elite, just something for a new T-shirt or whatever. I had he's going to come up with a new logo. He's going to kick out the Young Bucks who are over as baby faces. He's going to kick out Kenny Omega who's over as a baby face, and it's going to be Cody Rhodes and the fucking Tongans, and he's going to be the top heel act of New Japan. And Bullet Club is going to be the number one or number two behind Suzuki Gun heels of New Japan. So I had visions of that, but it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't make sense with what's going on with the Tongan faction. So there's that.
I feel like we're gonna get a big double cross or something. Like it either does need to be Omega winning and wrapping us up in a sense, or Young Bucks finally choosing a side and turning on Omega.
It really feels like, which side do the Young Bucks choose? Because, Matt is not quite back on Team Kenny yet. Nick is on Team Kenny, so those guys are kind of torn. But then with Nick bringing up to Matt, hey, man, I don't know if we can trust this guy. He's fucking trying to tear us apart. So that could be just not a spoiler, but what is it called? A foreshadowing to what their decision is. Because the story is, what everybody wants to see is Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks back together again. Everybody's happy. Being the Elite, the actual Elite, the first three Elite are back together again and happy. That's what everybody wants to see. I feel. So I think that you're right, Taco. I think that's going to come into play. But my prediction officially, Kenny Omega getting the win there, and everybody cheers. The building pops, biggest Ring of Honor crowd ever, blows the roof off the place. What do you guys think?
Kenny's taking this. There's no other way. I can't see Cody winning in a fashion that's going to make people happy. I mean, it will piss people off, which is not a bad thing, but KO's got to take it.
Taco.
Yeah, let's go Kenny on this one.
Kenny.
All right. Well, that's Supercard of Honor, and that's going to do it for the show this week. Again, to new people, thanks for checking out the show. Rate, review, subscribe, spread the news on social media, Facebook, Twitter, all that.
You don't have a Kojima tweet of the week?
Oh, I do have a Kojima tweet. How did I forget? Let's get to it right now.
Well, he didn't hit the button, so we're good.
It's time for
I did almost forget, though.
the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
Of course, before I plug our Twitter, we got to plug Kojima's Twitter at cozy_lariat. Hello, wrestling fan. I have not had a good spirit recently. Perhaps because the amount of bread is small. I want to eat many kinds of bread all over the world. It is my dream. So that will do it for this week. So again, thanks for checking out the show. Spread the word at Strong Honor on Twitter, Facebook.com/Strong Honor Podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Check us out not only on iTunes, on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you find your podcasts. Check out this show. Make sure you check out our WWE show, where we talk about the best wrestling in the world, best pro wrestling podcast, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. Follow me at Tommy Stryker on Twitter. Spell Stryker with a Y. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
That's going to do it. Check out Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Bye.
Adios.
Get out of the fucking ring.